This phrase, which we'll come on to in a minute, is something that just sort of comes out of you when you get it. Okay? So the phrase is, I understand. I understand. Okay, to help you understand where I'm coming from, man, all of this work, the only reason you're doing this work, really, man, is to understand. Is to understand yourself, understand reality. Obviously, you are reality. But in life, as we're living life, notice that when you have insights, or when something happens, or when you make a mistake, you will, and you feel inward, you will say, oh, I understand. But it's not just in life. Notice that if you are working with certain tools, psychedelics, for example, and you are getting it, what are you going to say? You're going to say, oh, I understand. For example, man, even just this morning, dude, when I left my house and I saw this dude on my street and he was walking really fast. I hadn't seen this guy before. I was like, who's this guy? And he looked at me with that morning look, you know, like I live in the UK, bro, and people don't really say hi to each other too much, especially in London. And I kind of like half said hi, but not with enough conviction for him to say hi back. So he just kind of ignored me. And immediately I was actually quite angry. I was like, fuck, he didn't say hi back. Grr. But then I slowed down and I listened to my wisdom. And I just took in his energy. And I said, I understand. Because I could see him, man. He's walking super fast. And he doesn't need to say hi to me. He's in his own world. He's doing his own thing. That's not my property. So I just came back to myself. And I just kind of silently said to myself, I understand. Yes, that's it. When you understand, you will stop trying to change the world. You will stop trying to change other people. Maybe even you will stop trying to change yourself. Now, of course, man, changing yourself can be good. But when we're tapping into wisdom, when we're understanding, we know that we don't really need to change ourselves. It's more about uncovering who we are and being who we are. My favorite thing to do in the world these days, man, is to be myself. It's what I've unlocked. It took me ages, brother. I mean, it's what I've always been able to do, but now it's coming to me easier. As I live this spiritual lifestyle, as I live in integrity with my values, it's easier to be. Okay, man, so here's another example I want to share with you. You will say this thing, you will say, I understand, when you say something, but then you realize that you just said that for your ego. Now, I know this is kind of like a generic one, but when you get this, man, when you start seeing how much your ego is running your life, dude, you will feel like a fool. And you will say to yourself, when you say the thing, you're like, oh God, I understand. And we could even ask, what is it that you understand? I would personally say, having done this lots of it throughout my life, I would say, oh, I'm a bullshitter. Oh, I understand I'm a bullshitter. Yeah. So, you know, really, man, understanding, it's always just truth, consciousness in you, being awakened to a small degree, seeing ego within you. Even that example earlier I gave about seeing that guy and he didn't say hi back. Ego, like I felt angry, you know, I was like, grr. But I understand it's consciousness. So understand this. Anytime that you say, I understand, it's because of a small shift in consciousness. Of course it is, man. You can't avoid this, man. The deeper you go on the spiritual path, you realize everything returns to consciousness. Everything comes back to this. And literally, if you think about it, what is awakening? What is enlightenment? It's understanding, and or it's consciousness. Another way we could put it is, it's you becoming conscious and then understanding. Another thing, man, I want to share here is, sometimes when I'm doing my spiritual practice and my ceremonies, sometimes I get into like really high states but I have no understanding. I'm like, God damn, man, I'd rather an awakening right now than this state. So I want to share with you the distinction between a high state versus understanding. Sometimes, like even yesterday, man, I didn't do my full meditation, and I was like, man, I don't feel meditated enough, right? I'm quite sensitive that sometimes, but I had very strong intuition, and when I was working, doing the thing I was doing, I was like, oh, I have wisdom today. I understand. I'm connected to understanding. And I realized you don't need to be dependent on your spiritual practice to have understanding. Really, the goal is to become a conscious person who is able to allow that understanding to come through as much as possible in the most natural and organic way. That is why, dude, I'm always saying, become a conscious person. Don't just fluctuate in and out of conscious states. Become a conscious person. Make it who you are. Have it integrated so that if you miss your meditation, you can still have those moments, those insights throughout the day where you go, oh, I understand. Or it might be more subtle than that. It might just be, oh, I understand. You know, most of the time, man, when this is happening for you, it's silent. Sometimes, man, this happens on the other end. So not for me, but if I'm working with a client in a coaching session and they are getting something, sometimes they don't always say like, oh, I understand. It's just silent. They're just silent. They're like, you know? And really, man, to be completely honest, I've noticed that the best it gets is when you shut up. Is when it's not a vocal realization. It's when it's a very, very, very internal realization. And there's a reason for that. Is because when you're seriously deeply in meditation or in contemplation, you can get it. You're getting it. But when you start to speak it, you kind of lose it. You know? You can feel it. I tell you what, the real reason why this is, man, is because you can actually turn off your mind and go into being or consciousness. And where it's at, you got to go to the source. Go straight to the source, man. And be it and feel it and experience the insights or the realizations or the wisdom. Yeah, feel it. But when you start to speak it, notice sometimes your mind has to be there to sort of communicate it, to get it out, to make it concrete. But then you're like, oh man, I don't even feel it as much as I did. I want to go back in. You know, sometimes, man, I'm having these amazing insights. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I got to share these with you. I can't wait to film a video and share these with you. But then I come here, I start speaking, I'm like, dude, I've lost connection with it. Because sometimes the best wisdom, the times where we say, I understand, is when we are silent. So if it happens for you, man, and you are silent, stay silent and just enjoy those quiet moments with yourself where you are understanding. Enjoy those moments, man. They are so good, man. There's a time not too long ago, about maybe like a month ago, where on my walk, my morning walk, there's this tree that I passed. I remember one time when I walked past this tree and I really, I could see the sky beyond the tree and it was like super beautiful and open and expansive and blue. And I was like, oh man, I'm so connected to life right now. I feel so much consciousness. And then every time I try and walk past this tree, dude, I try and recreate the experience. I try and tune in again. I'm like, damn it, dude, it's not working. And yet, when I abandon that and I'm silent and I'm just walking, then I'm starting to feel it again. Then I'm starting to remember. And then I'm realizing that, like, in being quiet, am I getting it? And so I say, I understand. I understand. Oh, okay. I've got another one, man. Imagine if you are dying. You're literally dying, okay? No more taking these videos, bro. No more spiritual work. No more life purpose, self-actualization. You're dying, bro. What are you going to say? Dude, you're going to say, I understand. I understand. Sometimes, man, I'm able to these days tune into truth, life. And it's when I'm realizing, like, oh my God, life is so beautiful, and I'm barely even scratching my potential. I'm barely even doing it, bro. I think I'm on my life purpose. I think I'm doing this great work, and I am. But then I really think about it, and I say, oh my God, I understand. I understand. And I want you to spend the rest of your life noticing when you say this, noticing how you feel, noticing what level of consciousness you're at. And then another meta insight is, dude, this is the work. This is how you do the work. This is how you know the work is working. You say, I understand. For example, man, some of the first few times you have awakenings, you will say like, oh my God, I get it. I fucking understand. And sometimes I'm very far away from awakenings. Sometimes, man, I'm really far away from the times where I'm just absolutely free and conscious and enlightened and awake. And so I just use these little small insights as little ways to remember. This is maybe quite relatable, man, isn't it? Because especially when you're living a very normal life, what we call conventional living, and we're dealing with problems in life and stuff. And so you just kind of hang on to these little insights, trying to stay connected to God. Oh, man. And I'll just say, I'll even go meta on all of that, and I'll say, I understand. I will return to those deeper awakenings. I will return to those more profound mind orgasms. Man, when you really get it. If you haven't noticed, man, the reason you probably love this spiritual work is because you love having mind orgasms. You love having realizations. And honor that, dude, by for the rest of your life, become conscious of when you say, I understand. And I want you to notice as well, man, you will say it with such sincerity. You can't bullshit this, man. You will say, I fucking understand, bro. It's a moment of truth. What is this path about, man? It's about truth. And when you are in truth, you will say, I understand. And dude, you might say it with so many different parts of yourself. You might say it with your deep, deep, deep wisdom. You might say, I understand. Sometimes, man, I become a warrior, spiritual warrior, and I go, I understand. Other times, man, I'm in my inner child. I'm like, I understand. Other times, man, I'm in just pure sage mode, just pure wisdom, and I'm like, I understand. Different parts of me, I feel this. The understanding permeates, and I feel it. I feel insight and awakening and realization, truth. These all mean the same thing, man. It's just that experience of getting it, understanding. And notice, as I've mentioned, you can feel it with different parts of you. The idea, the goal is to interconnect all of these parts and become you fully as a whole person. That's the goal. Or one of the goals. There's so many goals. But there's also no goal. But really, it's better to say there is a goal, because then, we're in life, aren't we, man? So you want to work towards something, to become productive, to use your time wisely, man. People who say there is no goal are correct. But isn't it useful and helpful to have goals? It is. So set some meaningful goals. Hopefully goals that, as you're pursuing them, you say on the way, I understand. Okay, man. So, final thing for today is going to be this. One huge thing that helped me go deeper to the point where I can embody some of this stuff is I invested in myself. What I'm doing right now is I'm about to plug my own coaching, but I want to tell you authentically the reason why. In life, it's really easy to stay asleep, to stay in your comfortable patterns. And there's one thing, man, that does genuinely help you wake up. And not only wake up once, but wake up over and over and over and over again, to the point where you become a different person. You literally experience transformation. And that is coaching. That's what I do for a living, man. If you're interested in that, and you would like to infuse consciousness into your life, you'd like to be more alive, you'd like to be more authentic, then you can see the link in the description and you can book a call with me. My friend, I hope you soon have a moment where you have one of those times where you go, oh, I understand. Hopefully that happens for you soon, man. All right, man. Lots of love. Take care, dude. And as always, peace.